Yeah, you see that? That is my bald spot. And if you are watching this video, maybe you've got one too. I am 21 years old as of 2 months ago, but I've been fighting this for about 5 years. I've had this bald spot since I was 16 years old. Boom. Look at how beautiful and boyish I used to look. Um, let me begin with some personal anecdotes. Maybe those of you who've been recommended this video might be able to relate. When I was 14 years old, I was absolutely terrified of losing my hair because I had relatively thin hair for a guy so young. Um, and both of my parents, mom and dad, are bald, so I consider myself kind of screwed. Um, but at 16 years old, that is when my greatest fears came to life. I was sitting at the high school lunch table, eating some mush, and a friend comes up to me right behind me and he says, "Whoa, dude, you've got a full bald spot." And everyone at the table, they instantly kind of rush to be like, "Shh, shh, don't say anything about that." But in my head, I'm thinking, I'm a solution. I'm a solution-oriented person. You don't have to hide this fact from me. If you tell me I'm balding, I'm probably not gonna collapse into a puddle of tears. I'm gonna look for a solution. Then there were the sideways comments that I got. When I got my first job, I was 16. Stupid AI. When I got my first job, I was 16 years old. Um, Horrible job, by the way. Instantly hired me on the spot. No talking about my experience. Like, I mean, I had no experience. I was 16 years old, but when I was interviewing, they said, "Oh, you don't look 16 years old," and obviously, because of the little blank spot on my head, uh, and yeah, other coworkers, they'd come up to me, they'd be like, "Oh, oh, you shouldn't have that on your head. Your head looks like mine." These like middle-aged guys telling me this, hurting my feelings. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I skipped a stage of life. I graduated to adult before I was out of my teens. You know what I mean? And friends at school, they give me the most hair loss superlative in the high school yearbook. Um, and even when I would go out with my girlfriend, people from her work, they'd see us together. They gossip about how uncute, that was the word they used. They'd say how uncute I was. And they were like, "Oh, how old is he?" Yeah, it really felt like I skipped a stage of life. You know what I mean? And it bothers me to a certain extent. I try to tell myself there are plenty of things to be grateful for, you know? Yeah, there's plenty of things to be grateful for. I'm 6'4". I'm super buff. And I'm an artistic genius. Yeah. But all that anybody remembers Shakespeare for is his forehead. So I don't even have to bring up an image. You know what Shakespeare's forehead looks like. And at 16 years old, I did not have much available to me in terms of like fixing this. I could not get a prescription for finasteride. I was unaware of its existence even. So I started with, I ignored the labels on the box and I started with topical minoxidil, aka Rogaine. Um, that worked a tiny bit, but nothing extreme. And as I accumulated knowledge on the subject of hair loss, I decided to hop on finasteride the minute I turned 18. Um, yeah, as time went on, I hopped on a 2-in-1 minoxidil / dutasteride oral capsule for consolidation purposes from happyhead.com. And according to my current knowledge, I would suggest others do the same. I haven't felt any horrible side effects. It's pretty much stabilized my hair loss. Minoxidil, it widens the blood vessels and it prolongs the anagen phase of hair growth, creates thicker hairs and dutasteride. What we know about hair loss is it's caused by DHT, a byproduct of your body producing testosterone, and that leads to the miniaturization of the hair follicle. And you'll see a lot of people who call themselves hair maxers. They're talking about how these drugs will chemically castrate you and you'll lose your manhood. And personally, I can attest for the fact that this is untrue. I'm me. I'm tall, I'm buff, and I pulled pork, yeah. And I still feel the urge to conquer the world, so don't worry about that. Yeah. I'm not one of these looks maxers. I don't look like them. I'm not a hair maxer. I'm just one guy who's insecure about his hair. So, being in this standstill, taking minoxidil and dutasteride and pretty much remaining stable, but not experiencing much regrowth, it had me thinking. Back when I was a Reddit user, I was on there all day, every day. It was not a great period of my life. I would see these Indian people posting to r/Tresslist who had great reactions to minoxidil and dutasteride, finasteride, and it had me thinking, what's making them respond so well? And I believe that hair loss drugs, they judge you not by the color of your skin, but by the content of your conditioners. I'm sure there's some biological component to it too, but I started to develop a theory. I wanted these hyper responder genetics. If they were genetics, I might be out of luck, but if there's something societal that contributes to the better hair growth, then we should view those societies as like North Stars. In our current developed American society, we have more of these harsh chemical products, and we see younger men balding en masse. Every younger guy is balding early nowadays. You see it with the kids taking steroids. A lot of people in high school assumed that I took steroids because of my hair loss. And I think we can look at places like India as an example of less developed, but places where they have more natural hair care routines. We can look at the thick heads of hair on homeless people. We can take away this hypothesis that maybe our hair needs a more natural process. Yeah. And we know there's an industry designed around hair loss. From drugs, hair transplant clinics, and everything else, it's in their best interest that natural solutions are harder to find. They profit off the manufactured solutions, and it may not be that they're directly trying to hide natural remedies from you. It's just better for their company if less people choose a natural route. And with how much advertising these companies are able to produce, their infinite budgets, it kind of overshadows natural remedies with little to no ability to be advertised due to the fact that they're natural products. They're not something anybody's selling, so no money to advertise. I believe recently YouTube algorithms have shifted a little bit, and people are being recommended natural solutions, especially as economic conditions are growing worse. It's making drugs more unsustainable, especially in America, with our healthcare system. I've seen a couple of guys out there. I've seen this channel, New Earth Fitness. It's this guy in this slide right here. He supposedly grew back his entire head of hair with just a continuous jojoba oil soak. Who's out there doing that in science? You know what I mean? Who's out there doing that in regular science? And based on this line of thinking, I hypothesize that there are natural remedies that work as well or even better than some, yet not all, of the advertised products. What I'd like to do is run an experiment. Let us pull up this experiment. Here we go. This is the routine. Okay. I'm not going to stop taking dutasteride. I'm not going to stop taking minoxidil. I have no reason to suspect that they're causing any adverse effects. Yet I want to explore some natural remedies. I want to explore alternate causes for hair loss besides the overproduction of DHT, stuff like scalp health, calcification of the skin on the head, shiny bald head people, blah, blah, blah. That's why their heads are shiny. What is causing hair loss at such a rapid rate in modern society especially? Here is what we are going to do. And I've compiled this little program based on a ton of fringe research. Nothing that's scientifically supported, nothing that I would recommend from a legal standpoint. But this is the stuff that I'm going to do. And if anybody wants a copy of this routine, either you can screenshot it or maybe I'll set something up so where all of you can download it or something. So what we are going to do, we have a list of targets and we have a task to address those targets. We have a certain frequency, then we have details. This is like getting more into what's going on here, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm making sure everything is in frame. Okay. So, let me just do this. Okay. So, we want to target inflammation, one of the main mystery causes of hair loss. And what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to fully replace shampoo, even the nice Nizoral shampoos, that kind of thing. I'm going to replace them completely with eggs. And this is going to be on a daily basis. My reasoning for this is we're getting a reduced chemical exposure, like less of these lab chemicals, more of the natural nutrients of Earth. Yeah, it's going to reduce chemical exposure, reduce the avenues of inflammation. The albumin present in eggs, the protein, that's going to create stronger hairs. Hairs are proteins. The lectin, that's what's going to help us cleanse our hair so we don't get scalp acne all over our scalp. We don't want to be greasy people. It'll cleanse, it'll bring vitamins and minerals to our scalp, create a little nice biome, a terrarium head for us to grow our hair from. We gotta feed the soil, the stem cell beds underneath the skin, and that will help us regrow our hair. Yeah. Then, next target number 2, blood flow. Blood flow to the scalp. If everybody watching this video, I'm sure you've heard of micro needling, going over your head with the rollers with the spikes on them. That's meant to promote blood flow and kind of like reactivate the stem cell beds that are maybe dead from having lost hair for too long. And what I want to do for blood flow is a little bit weird. It's kind of American Psycho style, but I want to do massages with an inversion and an oil soak. So with this guy over here, hang upside down on something, get some jojoba rosemary oil blend, and just massage that into the scalp. And I don't want to overdo it with this one. I'm going to start with it weekly. Maybe do it a bit more as time goes on. Let's see what I put in details here. Rosemary jojoba blend into scalp while inverted. Oh, it can maybe possibly dissolve sebum plugs if that is one of the causes of hair loss that is going unaddressed. It'll flush the scalp. Next target, general health. We've got 3 things in general health. Consistent deep sleep. This is a very important thing to do for your general health, not just in terms of hair loss. Sleep is the key to everything. Let's look in details. What did I put here? Help with hormones in case your hair loss is hormone related. Cell repair and stress reduction. Stress related to hormones. You don't want cortisol spikes. I don't want to be a clavicular type guy, but stress reduction is great for your hair. Next general health thing is sunlight exposure. Sunlight is a complicated one because it is a deadly laser, but there are many great things that it could possibly do for your hair. Let's see what I put in the details. Let us see. It'll get you your vitamin D. It'll boost circulation. It'll boost your sleep, and it'll decrease the stress. Those are all great things for your hair. Let us move on to the third and final general health thing. Target. A nutrient-rich diet. You are what you eat. Everybody knows that. You've heard that since you were young. And it is true. You are what you eat. So I'm going to be eating other people's hair. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm going to be eating a diet consisting of proteins, building blocks of the hair, and fats. Fats are protein building as well. Zinc, that'll repair. Iron, oxygen, selenium, that'll promote scalp health. Iodine, that's for your thyroid, in case your hair loss is thyroid related. Then copper, that's for balancing out the zinc that you're consuming. Sulfur, that's for keratin, what makes up your hair. Omega-3 fats, that's for inflammation control. Omega-3s, those are some of the greatest little guys you could ever put into your body. That will make you not depressed anymore. And I can say that with 100% certainty. Just kidding, but it will help with depression in some cases better than SSRIs. And then we've got 2 environmental targets. A shower filter. This is going to be a daily thing, and it'll filter out heavy metals. You don't want anything irritating your scalp. That'll lead to more inflammation. Second thing for environment, a silk or satin pillowcase. This will prevent further scalp irritation, smooth materials. It'll give your round head something nice to soothe itself. And last category, mental. I think your mental state is very underrated in terms of your physical health. And I believe that your mental state can affect your body. More stress, more balding, less stress, less balding. But specifically, placebo effect, that kind of thing. People believe they're doing better, and they really start to feel better. Belief, manifestation, If I affirm to myself, oh, I'm not balding anymore. Look at these hairs growing in it. And then I just say that to myself over and over. Talk to my scalp, talk to the little guys in there. Maybe they'll start pushing up little strands, the little guys underneath your skin. They'll start responding to your brain signals, responding to yourself, talking to yourself. If you're like, hey, me, we're not balding, we're growing hair rapidly. The little guys in your head, they'll push up the hairs faster. They'll do stuff for you. And but overall, this is like a stress reduction thing, placebo effect. That's kind of like the silly category. Then something that's not on here actually, another thing, vitamin deficiencies. Now, there are so many root causes of hair loss, and we're going to try to address them all. But when the Epstein files came out, I was thinking, whoa, this guy has crazy access to the top scientists in the world. They have he's connected to people at Harvard, many Ivy League schools. He was looking into cloning. He was looking into consciousness transfer. But besides all that, I found one or two Epstein files related to hair loss. First one, he was talking to some pregnant woman who was balding after her child that she gave birth to. I don't know if that child was forced into this world or something weird with Epstein, but to address the hair loss, he suggested that it was a vitamin issue. And then in another email, somebody's emailing Jeffrey Epstein, another elite person, in some Saudi Arabia vacation. He was talking about taking hair vitamins in order to regrow his hair. And this is so interesting because the people at the top, I didn't see one email talking about dutasteride or an email talking about finasteride, but what I did see were these elites. They were talking about hair vitamins, and either they're dummies falling for the same stuff that us poor people fall for, or they're onto something. So that's the final thing that I want to address: vitamin deficiency. And I think daily consumption of hair vitamins might make a difference. So that is the final thing that I'm adding to this plan. And I think all these things combined together, we might be able to do something about this hair loss. We're in this together. I hope you took some advice from this video maybe, and I hope you go out there, you address your hair loss. I'll do update videos. Maybe I'll keep a hat on in most of my videos, try to hide the progress, and we'll do little updates. We'll do like maybe monthly updates. I'll take my hat off, show you the progress on the temples or on the crown. We'll see. If all of this fails, then we learn something too. It's not worth it. If all of this fails, then maybe we just do a hair transplant. But I'm going to give it a shot for all of us young people balding. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm here for you. If you want to do this with me, you can. Or if you just want to sit back and watch, you can do that as well. But get to it. Let's not be bald anymore. Let's try our best not to be bald. Yeah.